Hi everybody. Hi. All right. Did you get my invitation? Yes, you did. Hi.
Hey Yasmina,
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
good. How are you doing?
Welcome. Good, good. It's finally some springtime here in Canada. How is California?
Yeah, it's good now. We had like a crazy rainstorm. I think it's the last one. We had
Oh,
one a week ago. It just like all you heard was thunder, and then it just started raining like crazy. I think we're good now. I think it's basically summertime.
okay, now you're cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining. I will post this video later for everybody who couldn't join, and I'll put it on my YouTube as well. For people who don't have social media, there's few of those as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for coming. For everybody who doesn't know, do you pronounce your name Rai or Ray? How do you
Oh,
say
it's
it?
Rye. It's short
Rai.
for Ryan. So
Rai.
Ryan,
Okay,
whatever
cool.
people call me.
Okay, cool. So it's Rai. So for all of you who don't follow Rai, he's an amazing astrologer, evolutionary astrologer, great insight. That's why I wanted him today, so he can tell us more about his practice and what is this evolutionary astrology and why is it different from what we practice as a other sort of Western astrologers. So yeah, please tell me more. I'm so curious. I know a little bit about it. I know that Stephen Forrest is in that. He's a great astrologer, and who else? Tell us who else
So
is into
yeah,
evolutionary astrology.
Jeffrey Wolf Green, he's like the founder of Evolutionary Astrology.
Yes.
He's retired now. He's like kind of like indefinitely MIA. Like nobody can find him. Nobody like knows where he's at, which really sucks because like
Oh.
he's so like he changed the game for astrology in his own way. So now it's
Hmm.
like, but his daughter's carrying it on, Deva Green. But yeah, so there's Jeffrey, there's Mark Jones. I've got like a bunch of his books. You
Yes.
know about Mark Jones?
Yeah, I know about Mark Jones. I have a couple of his books, and I love him.
Yeah,
I like psychology. So
yeah,
my reason for coming into astrology is because I love psychology. I want to combine both of those worlds. And then I just recently found out about more about evolutionary. I dig a little bit deeper. I just don't have time. There's so many interesting things. But I'm in love
yeah.
with Pluto. And I found out that evolutionary astrology starts from Pluto. So I was like, wow, so tell me more, please. Because I have Pluto in my first house and I know Pluto energy. So tell me
Yeah.
more.
So yeah, so Pluto, it's like it's really deceiving because it is like really small. And I know like a lot of traditional astrologers, they like some of them shrug it off because of its size and like, oh well, it's not like Jupiter. Jupiter's like this big old thing. I'm like, but the significance of Pluto, that's the power within it, what it symbolizes. Like
Hmm.
even like when it transits, it takes forever. You know, it takes up to 15 years to go into another sign. But that's evolution. You know, it takes time for that cataclysmic transformation. You know, and so and I've been reading more and more, and I made a post about it, I think a week or two ago, about how Mars is like doing Pluto's job every single day. And Pluto's like, I need this over time, but I need you to help me do these like daily things. You know what I mean? So
I can witness to that. Like I to be honest, through my life, I really Pluto transits when they hit my sun and moon and everything. I had major things going on in my life. So it does. I mean, the energy works. Nobody can tell me. I experienced it firsthand. So it's really
yeah,
strong.
I feel like
Yeah, and I know I like that. Okay,
oh
go
no, no,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I feel like it's an atomic bomb. I always think of Pluto
Mhm.
like this little bitty thing, and but like it's like if it drops, it's gonna like
Yeah.
just like destroy so many things. I mean, for good and bad. You know what I mean? Like,
I to be honest, I came out of the Pluto transits as a transformed new better person. So I love it. I love Pluto. I think it made me a better person after at the end of it had helped me actually helped me to transform. Like I have a new life, like literally rebirth.
and
Right?
you have a Pluto natally in your first, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have had it been transiting my first for like 10, 11, 12 years. So it's I know it's like differently than natal because it's a phase, it's a long phase, but it's like, you know, you feel it. It's like right there. So
Yeah, so it did change you, right? It did make transform you, like the foundation of you, right?
yeah,
Because it shakes from the bottom.
yeah, everybody, it's like it's still going on. Like, I'm tired of Pluto in my first. Like I'm like, please go into my second house. I'm done with you. I
Yeah.
don't want anything else to do with you. And, but it's like it's that strong because you can feel it. You know, it's like all the planets, what they represent, you feel their energy differently.
Mhm.
Like I have a few friends. They talk to me about their Neptune transits, and the way they describe it, it's such a nebulous description. It's like they don't know even know the word to describe it. You know, it's like
Typical Neptune.
yeah,
I just feel when I have Neptune, I just feel I'm just tired. Like you just need to rest. Don't think too much, just rest and relax, and it will come. So tell me, so why does evolutionary astrology starts from Pluto? I know it's small, but it's strong. So why is it that a first point of when you read the chart?
well, it. So Jeffrey, the founder of evolution, like for
Mhm.
him, and this is the funny thing. This is like where evolutionary astrologers start to differ. He's like it's the soul. Like he's like it is the
Mhm.
soul. And then like for me, I say, well, it represents the soul. I wouldn't say like that is the soul. Everything Pluto is the soul. It represents the unfolding of, you know, our transformation. That's really why we're here. You know, we're here to transform. You know, people ask like, what am I doing here? Why am I here on Earth? And like,
Mhm.
that's an evolutionary question. You know, and that's a really
Exactly.
profound
Hmm.
question. And like, why not start on the deepest level? And that's why I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I'm like, I want to get to the deepest
Hmm.
roots, and I want to like see like what comes up. You know, the answers that come up. And so Pluto is just like the deepest of everything. It's the stuff that we can't remember, but we feel in our souls.
Oh,
You
yes, it's a subtlety that you don't know why
know?
is this happening. You can't
And it
pinch to it. Cool.
coming up over and over and over again. And it's like I have my own stuff in my own life that keeps coming up over and over. And it's like, why does this, you know? And then for you, it's like you have your stuff that keeps coming up over and over again. And we're like, and we just can't get to the bottom of it. And that's Pluto. You know, it's like, but we got to keep digging. And if
Hmm.
we can get,
Facing your fears, facing your deepest, if you bury your head under in the sand, it won't happen. It won't help. You have to kind of face it, deal with it. It brings you. I think it lightens you at the end, right? You cannot know the light without facing the dark, kind of a story, right?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's,
So,
oh, I was going to say one more thing. It's just,
yeah, please.
I feel like, and what you just said, like it's like the light that eventually emerges. It's like if we keep our head in the sands, it's gonna come anyway, but it's like gonna hurt and go, dang, like I was resisting so much that it just broke through. But it's if we like keep digging a little bit every single day, Mars, you know, then it's easier. Then we transform and it's easier, you know. So
I feel I feel the same way with Saturn. If you embrace the hard work and if you don't
yeah,
bitch and whine about it, it's easier. If you bitch and whine, it's just gonna be harder. So because it's there anyway, you can't avoid it. So it's better to embrace it. The astrology is a great tool to help people with that because they don't realize in everyday life what actually is going on. Cool. So with Pluto, I know Saturn is important and nodes. So tell me the combination.
well, yeah. I mean, with Saturn, I feel like well, all the planets at that point,
I,
but like
I know.
with I was say with the nodes. So in evolutionary astrology, those are the first three things we look at, and then everything bounces off of those three. So Pluto, and then the nodes, the rulers of the nodes, the house
Mhm.
placements of Pluto and the nodes, and the nodal rulers. And then with all that, everything just starts to like we put the pieces
Unwind.
at that point because
Cool.
Pluto is like we're trying to transform, you know, like we're trying to get from A to B, and the nodes, South Node, A, North Node, possible B. You know, that's where we're trying to get to. So the Pluto and the nodes are like, they're siblings at that point, you know, like
I love it.
they're,
I love how you said it. The siblings. I love it.
yeah, they're like,
I
they're
love
living
it.
in one household, but it's kind of dysfunctional. But it's like, if we can just make this a happy household, then everything will be great.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. See, there's a good and bad days, like in every life, right? What I love, the idea of our souls actually evolving, learning, making, having all these experiences in life, and then evolving in something else. I think, some people say, "Oh, I haven't changed. I'm the same person." I think that's sad. I'm thinking that's very sad. Like, I don't know. They're like so proud, like, I'm the same person, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think the whole point is to realize, and so tell me, how can evolutionary astrology help us with that, with realizing that we need to change?
Well, yeah, and it's just like, this is literally what you just said. Like, if you're the same person you are last year or last month, or, God forbid, 10 years down the line, like,
Yeah.
like no judgment, but like, it is sad, because it's like, do we really want to die living the same, being the same person for however long? Like, that's a waste of a life, And then, like, a lot of people don't believe in this, but I do. Like, we come here many times over, like, if we're here right now, for me, I'm like, it makes a lot of sense that we were here before, right? Because if, like, the universe has been the universe for so long, oh, we just happen to be here at this time and moment for this little dot of a sec, like, like, come on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's
it's like,
finally,
if we live a
but
life, being the same person for that long, we have so many opportunities to grow, and then hopefully, like, our
mhm.
next life is a little bit easier because we grew in our last one, Or I was talking to my friend Michaela like an hour ago about this. We were talking about past lives, and I said, I don't want to call it past lives anymore. I want to call it parallel lives, because
Mhm.
because it's all happening simultaneously. It's just, I believe in, like, we can do so many different actions in one moment,
Mhm.
but it's like the ones that we choose, that's parallel lives. Like, I can raise my hand right here, or I can choose to, like, put my hand out there. It's like, it's all happening. It's just the choices that we make. You know what I mean? So
Yes, so we still have free will. I know people always ask, what is it's not fated. It's not fated. There's some things that are actually, there, but we always have a choice. So you're going to go in a higher octave or a lower octave. What do you want to, with all these energies? Because we always, there's no bad or good, right?
yeah,
I have some clients tell me, "Oh my God, is my chart bad?" Like, no, like, there's no bad chart. Like, you don't have to be afraid of it, like, So I'm just saying, the perception of how people, think about these things as a bad or good, that's not it. It's about growing from, and using your abilities. I
yeah.
love it. So I think somebody said they have a Pluto in the seventh house. Ah, it's my friend Meg. So what do you have to say about Pluto in the seventh house? What are their
Well, like,
purpose in
to put
life?
it bluntly, it's like, the first thing I think of is, like, your the deepest conscious need, or the deepest unconscious need, is to be in relationship, is to be with other.
Mhm.
And then the Pluto polarity point, because wherever Pluto's at,
Mhm.
that's where we're, like, unconsciously stuck in a way. And it's like, we need this
Okay.
clinging on for dear life, and then the polarity point is where we kind of need to go. It's like a north node for our Pluto. The polarity points in the first house.
Well, I like
So
that. I like that.
it's like,
Cool.
okay, I need more independence. I need to learn to be on my own. I need to learn the courage to, like, make my own decisions, and not needing to defer to someone else. What do you think about that? Oh, can you come with me? Seventh house Pluto, and not saying, again, not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's like, that's our
Mhm.
comfort zone, our deep, deep, deep comfort zone. It's like the moon, but, like, super, super intense. The moon is what we need. Pluto is,
Mhm.
but we don't even know that we need it so much.
Yeah. So it's very deep. It's a hidden need.
Yeah.
The one you have to kind of look for. That's exciting. I never asked you. I know people always want to know what are your big threes and what are your placements. People always ask, oh, you guess, they never tell. So tell,
Yeah.
please. I always
Yeah.
forget to ask.
Rising, Aquarius moon, and Pisces sun. So it's literally like
Ooh.
boop, boop, boop.
That winter baby, all around winter baby. I like it. Oh, that explains a lot with being a Pisces and Aquarius moon that you're interested in this topic. I see you completely.
And like all my Aquarius stuff squares all of my Scorpio stuff. So it's like trying to connect to people in the ways like why we do the things we do, like the psychology. I went to school for psychology.
Yes.
And like, and I think the astrology, blending the astrology and the psychology, it's like it just adds another layer to trying to figure out all this stuff,
Yeah, makes sense. Spot on. There you go. Yeah, I'm also interested. Like it makes it, astrology just gives another layer of understanding, and I love that part. So tell me about the nodes. Okay, so what is the meaning of the nodes in evolutionary astrology?
Well, it's it really is like it's the journey. I would just say, like, if I could boil it down, it's the soul's journey, where we started, where we've come from, I would say, and not necessarily where we're going. Well, it is where we're going, whether we like it or not. We got to go to our north node, and the north node is really scary. I was meditating about this recently. I said the north node is like probably the hardest journey from the south node to the north node. A lot of people, we want to like get to our MC, we want to connect to our MC, our career, we want to get all this money, we want to get for some people fame, fortune, all these things. The north node is like that's our soul's journey, and like that's evolution. Evolution is so scary when you really think about it, because we want to stay in the same spot that we're familiar with, But if we get out of that comfort zone, oh man, maybe other people will judge me. Maybe I'll judge myself. Maybe I'll fail, So it's scary.
Yeah, it is a journey. So you said it well. It is a journey. It's not a goal. It's not something you have to achieve in this lifetime. You just have to journey towards that. I know some people are kind of saying, "Oh, my South Node, I have to kind of dismiss everything." I'm not a believer of that. I think we should use the South Node talents that we brought, to implement. Right? What do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I agree. And it really sucks. And I hope that we can change this one day in terms of like when you look up your chart. You know what I'm talking about, like where it shows the north node, but it never shows the south node. I know. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to charts and just astrology in general. People are like, "Oh, my north node is this. What is my south node?" Like that's something that should always be like known, that they are always opposing one another.
Opposite. Yes. Yeah, you have to kind of, I already kind of know, but yeah, when you're a beginner and you go online to this free sites where you can pull up your chart, you don't see it, and you're kind of confused, right? So do you use True Node or Me Node, or what does that go? What are your thoughts about that?
I've always like learned to use True Node. I'm still trying to like, maybe this is like a rookie answer, but like I'm still trying to figure out exactly like what's the big difference between, because I calculated them differently. I'm like, I think most of the time they come out in the same
it's a very small difference. Yeah, very small difference. Not right.
Oh, True Node. Like, yeah.
Okay, so tell me more. What I'm interested about. I have so many questions. I'm a Gemini, guys. For you who don't know me, I'm a Gemini Sun and Moon and Mercury and Virgo rising. I'm all.
You need a podcast if you don't already have one. You need a podcast.
Not yet. This is kind of like my trial. I'm trying this, so hopefully it will come in a podcast. My question about retrogrades. So I know with people who have lots of retrogrades in their charts, is their evolution, is their soul at the end of the journey, or is it just started, or what is happening with them?
So I feel like there's two things, and one of them I've been connecting to more because I've been reading more Jeffrey Wolf Green's books, and or the
Mm-hmm.
seminars. But one thing with retrograde is, see, Mercury retrograde, this whole phenomenon, like, because it's a pop phenomenon now. And so it confuses people. People think like things are going to go wrong and like it's going to be the apocalypse or something. But
Yeah, or something.
like
Yeah.
for me, Italy retrograde is two things. One, it means like you're going in a different direction than most people, and that's not a bad thing. But it just means like
Mm-hmm.
you have to rethink things in ways that other people are not gonna think about them in, right? Retrograde means like it's it's an optical illusion anyway. Retrograde isn't nothing
Mm-hmm.
really going back. You know, it just stopped. And the other planets are going forward. That's all retrograde is. It's just stopped. And when it stops, we have to think about things. Oh man, okay. Because if we keep going forward, we're never going to think about anything. Aries, Mars, going forward. But if we
Oh.
stop, then we're like, oh, okay. Now I can look at that in a different way, in a different light. Oh wow, I learned that because I was able to think about it after the fact. Retrograde. Yeah.
So that's why people with lots of retrograde, they need to retrospect, have a retrospective of what they feel, or what they think, or what they do, everything, depending on the planet,
Yeah,
right?
it's a slowing down
And
process.
yeah, but I feel that a bunch of them are actually out of the box thinkers. They're different,
Yeah,
unique from the rest of, I don't have any personal planets retrograde. I only have, the outer ones. But I just, my husband has a lot of, he has like 7 retrogrades in his chart. And and I was thinking, you know, he needs more time. And I'm like, I think, he needs more time. It's
yeah,
normal, right? So you have to, astrology is a great tool. When you learn about it, you can understand people and actually help them be what they are, and support them in their roles. I
yeah.
love that.
I
Cool.
did. Oh,
um
one
mhm.
thing.
No,
I
tell me more.
did a retrograde post a few months ago, and I remember making it like, uh, FYI, I make all my posts between like 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning because I have crazy insomnia. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can't sleep, so I'm just gonna use my creativity and just like put content out there. But I just remember like so many people were like, I have all these retrogrades, and I'm like, I only have I only have Pluto, and I think just Pluto. I think all I have is Pluto retrograde, and
Okay.
everyone else was like, I have all these retrogrades. I'm like, wow, that must be something to work with, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot of, yeah, it's a kind of a work in progress. It's a lot of internal work, a lot of internal work, I can tell you. Yeah, so it's an example for that. Cool, awesome. Do you have anything you want to share specifically that you find fascinating about your work and what you learn about astrology?
Oh,
What is the drive for you? What is interesting
for
for
me,
you?
it's just honestly, it's because for me, the way I think, it's so deep. I have to have a channel for it. Like
Okay.
I'm always thinking about like existential questions that, it's just it can actually drive you crazy. It could scare you because like the ego
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to go there. I've had ego deaths. I've had spiritual awakenings. I've had these things and
Wow.
I never knew what to call them. I remember when I had my first spiritual awakening, I was like researching like what is this? What the hell is going on? Like
Mhm.
because you're just going through this dread, this soul dread all the time. Until it like subsides and you start moving on with it. But um, astrology, psychology, getting in touch with your spirituality, that's like the three I like put together. It helps you with answering those questions. Astrology helps with the other two because it's super metaphysical,
Mhm.
and it makes sense. If you're open to it, astrology makes so much sense. You know.
I like I like that. Yeah, if you're open to it. I think people, I just have so many prejudice about it, and they don't even hear what it is. Like
Mm,
my dad, when I told him, I'm gonna start, because I was always into astrology, but I didn't practice it until recently. And he goes, "Don't you have any smarter thing to do?" And I'm like, "You don't even know." No, but the thing
yeah,
is, he doesn't know. Like,
yeah,
it was funny. 20 years ago, it wouldn't be so funny. But now, when I know his chart and my chart, and when I know everything, I'm thinking, yeah, it's it's actually, it's weird at how people are so opinionated about stuff they don't have no knowledge about. I think that's very scary. You know, to have such a strong opinion about astrology,
Scares
like we who are practicing and learning, the more I learn, the you know, I feel that the less I know, you know, because there's so much, right?
Yeah,
And I can't have a strong opinion which house system is better, what is better. Like I don't have an opinion. I think all is good. I think astrology can help in all the ways, as long as it's, you know, from the heart and you have a great
yeah.
intentions. That's all,
And
right? Which techniques you use, you know, at the
if it
end.
was for everyone, it wouldn't be. If it was for everybody, if everybody just lashed onto astrology, it would become watered down. It would become something that people are trying to use for gain, political gains, and this and that. And then I wouldn't want to.
That's my fear, to be honest. That's my fear with Pluto in Aquarius.
Oh, yeah,
That my fear is that astrology will become so mainstream, it's going to lose that depth that it has. You know, I'm kind of that's my fear. For example, you know, I don't want astrology to water down. I want it to actually rise up and to be something, you know, you know, like a profession that actually is you know, acknowledged from others, from academia, from everybody, as a tool, that can help people, right? I just, you know, that's my kind of I'm always skeptical about people abusing stuff, you know, every time you have something. Anyway,
yeah.
that's
I
enough
mean,
chat about me.
I don't think. I think astrology is always going to be okay
Okay.
as long as we have practitioners actually taking it seriously and using it to actually help people, then it'll always be fine. Like I actually like the
Yeah.
fact that astrology isn't like so. I mean, we have pop astrology. I hate pop astrology, but it's like it actually brings people in that we need pop astrology. So like people can come in and they're like, oh, I researched my Mars sign and my moon sign, and wow, there's so
Mhm.
many other signs outside of your sun sign. Then next thing you know, they're an astrologer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. uh, yeah, it takes a lot of practice, to be honest. You need a lot of practice to actually, you know, to learn, because just like everything else, you know, you go to university, you study a subject, but you have also a practical part of it. Everybody has a practice, like becoming a doctor. They have to go through all these practical things before they call the doctor, right? Because it is. You have to blend the knowledge with the practicality.
yeah.
Cool. Does anybody have any question? Everybody's just listening very, very, very seriously.
I was
Awesome.
listening, you because you asked something. It was a question earlier about Pluto and the nodes, but I want to like
Hmm.
I find it fascinating. I actually have a friend probably in the chat right now. She's got Venus on her south node. So
Hmm.
I love whenever I see planets on the nodes because it amplifies those planets. I've seen it also in aspect. Like I don't think I've ever seen it as quite as crazy as mine. I have like 4 or 5 squares to my nodes and to
Hmm.
Pluto because Pluto's on my node, on my north node.
That's amazing.
So it's just like
I mean,
a lot of pent up energy with the soul there.
yeah, you told me that. Yeah, you told me that. So Pluto on your node and it's retrograde, you're doing the right thing. I think, you know, if you chose what your life path is, I would say astrology or psychology right away. You know.
Probably somebody probably like me for trying to study this stuff or practice it. Um, it's funny. I was hanging out with someone and she was telling me like she either had this dream or this premonition or something that in a past life, like she was killed on a stake because she wanted to practice like learn divination and like learn how to use energy
Mhm.
positively and stuff, but they took it the wrong way and they killed her and stuff like that. Like I think for a lot of
Oh,
us, we definitely like have had traumatic past lives or parallel lives or whatever we want to call it.
I dived into that a little bit. I went under hypnotic regression and stuff. I didn't find anything traumatic yet, but it was useful. It was useful to just understand actually my nodes and my purpose in this life, to see what my subconscious is telling me. I like that. Um, I have another
Yeah.
question. that I'm interested in about, what about synastry? You know how, you know, people, you know, they say, oh, I know you from somewhere, you know, oh, I think I know you, like I know you my whole life, like from past lives and stuff. I'll just to give you an example. My mom, her nodes, she's passed away, but her nodes were opposite mine, exactly the same degree. So she had Aries North Node with my uh, South Node in Aries. So exactly. So that's like, it was something that we knew each other from before,
Yeah.
for sure, right? When the nodes connect like that. So tell me more about synastry and what is that feeling when you know, when you have a feeling that you know somebody from before.
Yeah.
What are the aspects in the chart?
Well, just because I want to piggyback off of what you just said with you said you and your mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's no coincidence. Like I've seen, not even synastry, but like me and my mom, our ascendants are 1 degree away from each other, like 1 degree off. I'm like, that's not a coincidence. Like these things are
Right?
coincidences because you know how tough it is to actually align a chart like that. You know what I mean? Like to align certain degrees from both, like from 4 nodes to where they're just opposite and 1 degree off. Like that's not a coincidence. And she's my mom's
And
daughter. Like that's not. But,
and we both were Virgo. She was also Virgo rising, and it was in the first. So it was the first second house axis. It was this, you know, like it's like it was just amazing. Like
well, it's like clearly the relationship, opposition nodes, you and her. It's like you're supposed to teach her stuff, and she's going to teach you stuff. But it's like it's not just my mom is teaching me all this stuff. It's like you're teaching your mom stuff so that she can grow, and then you're teaching. I mean, and then your mom is teaching you stuff for you to grow, and then it's like you guys literally merge in that.
in another time, I will tell you the story, and it will make sense to you. I don't want to just bother people now, but I'll tell you the story, and it will all make sense. So that's why, you know, when I learned about that in astrology, I was like, oh my God, it makes sense. Our relationship makes much more sense. Okay, what does people? Let's talk what people are saying. I need to look up in my nods and see. Yes, please do in the chart with
Oh no,
synastry.
she's saying
That's perfect
her dogs.
for dogs. Why not? But it's also, but then you know what? Many people do that, and I have nothing against about it. Michaela says, "Hello, my North Node in Aquarius, 12th house in natal, and in 2026 the North Node will have the exact position. What to expect? Okay, so what do we expect when we have a nodal return?
That's like it's almost like a culmination point. I feel like it's a nodal return, so it's like it's really good to take stock of how like how far have I come in my journey thus far. You know, like what am I doing as my career? Am I aligned with my career? Am I aligned with my soul? Like, what about my relationships? Like, am I actually with someone that lifts me up, or am I still in toxic relationships? That's in. She said her North Node is in the 12th house,
It, yes.
Aquarius.
So it's
So that's like it's funny because it's a nodal return, but it's in the 12th. So it's like the 12th is always stuff is still ending. Everything's still going to be ending and culminating. So it's just
yeah, it's gonna be digging. It's gonna be hit like so. So her path it's hidden, right? So you have to kind of with every return you might, you know, close something that you discovered in the last 18 years, I would say, right?
yeah.
uh I know. So what does happen when you have a reversal,
That's what I
like this is a
that's what
return?
I'm having. And it's not
I'm having as well next year.
yeah, it's just a lot. For me it's so confusing because but this is what I learned. I had like a aha moment the other night about my nodal return, my nodal opposition. It's as much as we want to ascend up our north node, right now we have to kind of go down. But going down is kind of going up because it's in reverse. It's like we kind of got
Yeah,
a new
okay.
world, and we have to like make friends again with our south node, kind of right because right now the north node is in Taurus. My south node is in Taurus. So it's like naturally we're leaving our south node, not leaving, but we're going more towards our north node. With the reverse,
Okay.
like we kind of got to go back, and we think that we're going backwards, but it's not a bad thing because it's the north node of the transit. I mean, it's
I,
North Node.
I always think about it as like it's an opportunity for you to kind of go through your hidden talents and what you brought from previous lives, and you can actually implement again. Like they're lightened up, kind of like if you've forgotten about it. Oh yeah, this I can use. It's like a reminder. Oh look, I have this tool I
Yeah.
can use to go forward towards my North Node.
And, what,
in my.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. We just have another question.
Oh,
It says, any advice for a friend who will be experiencing Saturn transit, conjuncting her natal, North Node, Moon, and South in Sun in Pisces in her third house? Ooh, okay. But you take it,
um, you
right?
start because I'm going to read this question again.
Okay. So the Saturn will transit the North Node, Moon, and Sun in Pisces in third house. So when Saturn touches North Node, I always think about something karmically will happen, right? So I think something that will trigger for long term. And if with the Moon and Sun there, all the both luminaries, um, I would say that it can manifest. It can happen something, or with the siblings, or with something in a third house topics that will make a long-lasting impact. I would like to have to see the whole chart, but I would
Yeah,
say that it will be
the
something
first thing
karmically.
is like, and this is probably not applicable, but I started thinking of like writing a book, like actually publishing a book, Saturn, all
Mhm.
that stuff, like actually making it real. And third house communication, like I don't know, like maybe some form of communication that's going to be like I don't know, like maybe getting a job that
I would like to know what is the ruler of the third and where is
there,
it placed. So if for me to
yeah,
know, I need to know the
there's so
ruler,
much stuff there,
right?
just like those like
Yeah,
all little like
yeah, but
this, like it's like it's really hard to work off those like little.
usually when Saturn goes over your luminaries, I always tell people think about your health, but it doesn't matter which house is it, because Saturn and Sun, just think about, just go to the doctor, make sure that you're healthy first of all, and then prepare for hard work and for something that is going to have a long lasting impact, whatever it is. But I need to know the rulers of
There's
the
some
houses, and it's hard.
aspect and there's yeah, it's
Okay. People are reviewing the skill. Okay, so Max says, when is the reversal? It's reviewing the skills you have in South Node. That's correct. Yeah, like a stock count.
yeah. I
Yeah,
gained so much weight towards North Node. I've gained so much weight.
I
All,
know. So
all food.
science, science root astrology says Saturn should make things more clear for her mental process and ego development, straightening her faith and sacrifices to propel her life forward. All Piscean things.
Yeah. Oh, and
I
it's
know. So
Pisces. That's right. Yeah.
So do you have you're gonna have Saturn on your Sun, or did it happen already, or no? When is it? When do you expect
Right
that?
now, Saturn literally just crossed my. So I'm in my Saturn return right now. It just started. So and then my sun's at 18 degrees. I think Saturn is at like 6 degrees or something. So
Next
I'm
year.
going gauntlet of Saturn right now. Saturn, and I have this stellium in Pisces. So I'm like, you know, it's like now's my time. I got to go through all this hardship and stuff. Not saying that Saturn's bad, but Saturn is it's
Yeah. It's just hard work.
it's unequivocally tough. But like Saturn makes us tough, like it's fine. It's just like it's pushing me to like just do a lot of hard work.
But you can master with the Saturn. It gives you hard work, but then you master a skill or something, and then you have results. In a couple of years, when he's out of Pisces in 3 years, you're gonna be like, oh my God, look at me! I know this now. Like wow, right?
Yeah.
I love Saturn. I'm a crazy person.
Ruler. It's my chart ruler, so it's like, it's really my friend if I want to be funny about it.
Mhm.
If Venus was my chart ruler and I was having Saturn return right now, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not pretty anymore, and like all these things, I actually have to get a job, like that's
Oh, responsibilities. Oh yeah, maybe that's That's a thing that happens. I know many people have kids when they have Saturn returns. I noticed because it's a huge responsibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, like my dad had me, so he always told me, oh, my third year was a very hard year. I said, yeah, you became a dad.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah. So embrace it. I always say, even Uranus, people who don't like Uranus, and change. I know
Yeah.
it's hard, but if you prepare for yourself for a change, it's going to be much easier. And then it's not going to because it's coming.
Mhm.
Like you hear like a tornado warning. Oh, so what are you going to do? Panic or cry? Or going to say, okay, it's coming. Let's do what.
Yeah.
So it's just easier that way, right?
And
I talk.
I just thought, well, you got all that Gemini. So I love it, though. I love it. Well, it's like, honestly, I love the fact that you got all that Gemini because the fact that we're having a conversation, like, it's not going to be boring and it's not going to be awkward. And it's like, if you have like a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
time, it'd be like some awkward stops and like, oh, so what do you want to talk about now? Like, I love the fact like your mind is just, I can see it, just like, let's.
But I have to give other people, not everybody thinks like me so fast. So, to finish your line of thoughts and everything. Yeah. Oh, my moon is in Gemini as well. So Sun, Moon, and Mercury. Yeah. But it's in the ninth house, so it's kind of helping me, yeah, with
Yeah.
everything. Anyway, what time is it? We are chatting now for so what is it? What's the time?
40 minutes in.
40 minutes in. Okay. Do you want to talk more? We can talk more whenever you feel like it. I think we got a very good um, picture of what evolutionary astrology is. What can it,
Yeah.
we talked about a little bit, bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
So if you have anything to
we can
add,
go maybe
please.
another 10 minutes if that's cool. I mean,
Sure.
because
I love it.
we're already in it. Like, we covered so much good stuff, though. I mean, it's really. Oh, I was gonna say, I forgot.
Yes.
It came back. I don't want to lose it again. But so Saturn is transiting. Is it in my third? No, it's transiting my second. And it's like I
Mm-hmm.
have that crazy second house stellium. So it's like I feel so Taurian right now. Like I feel all like a very second house / Taurus right now. Like I just want to build finances. I want to build every single thing, relationships, everything. I just want to build it. Saturn, just like.
I think it's a great opportunity for you to reevaluate your value system. Like Saturn there. Okay, oh, thank you, Meg. Like when you have hard planets transiting any house, like Pluto or Saturn, it's a great opportunity to look through that house. What is it about? And just go and make it better. Okay, it's time to reflect and see. Oh, how can I, just I know I love it. I don't know. I need a line with you guys. Angela is saying, okay, cool, cool. Um, what was I gonna ask more? Okay, you mentioned the reversal. I just want to go back to that because it slipped my mind. So Pluto as a starting point of the soul's journey. What is the opposite point then?
So Pluto, right?
Yeah, of the Pluto, not of the nodes, but of
So
the Pluto in evolutionary astrology.
polarity point. It's called the polarity point of Pluto. And
Mm-hmm.
like because prefacing of Pluto is just being so where it's like this works. I wasn't gonna say it, but it actually works. We're like 6 feet deep, like you put a casket 6 feet under. Like we just keep digging
Okay.
Pluto and we're so deep in it. And it's like, how do we get out of it? Well, we have to get to our polarity. We have to go to our polarity point and figure out how to work with that. With
Oh, okay.
Pluto by itself, it's like just working with Pluto in the house that it's in. You can't get out of the grave if you're just like if you're so far deep in it. Like you have to like figure out a different way to get
So
out.
that's a light. So it's like a light point from the dark where you kind of go, and the end of the tunnel, kind of on the opposite side of the tunnel. Hmm.
Climbing out of
I like that.
we can use that ladder, the polarity point, to actually get out of that well because you're so far in it with Pluto. Because I'm the exception. I'm considered the exception in evolutionary astrology
Okay.
because my North Node is conjunct Pluto. So, but it's like
Oh yeah.
thing,
Yes.
like I have to keep going in my Pluto direction because my North Node is right there, right?
Yeah.
So
Mine are not conjunct, but in the same house. So I have North Node and Pluto in the first house, so it's almost like and it's Libra, Aries, stuff. So it's always about balancing, relationships and in how and not losing myself into stuff like that. So it's not conjunct, but it's in the same house. So I think I have a similar like you, like thinking about that.
that,
Yeah, it's interesting. That's cool. So what about, did we cover everything? What else is interesting in evolutionary astrology? So we have Pluto, I know have nodes and Saturn and retrogrades. Those are all important
well,
for soul
yeah,
evolution.
the nodal rulers. Um, the,
Mhm.
the nodal rulers are like it's so my nodal rulers are Mars, Pluto, because like the co-rulers of
Okay.
Mars, Pluto, and Venus. And it's funny because if you start looking at the aspect to your nodal rulers, then you're
Hmm.
oh, that's where everything's coming from. It's not necessarily
Hmm.
all the time the aspects to your nodes. It's also the nodal rulers. What's going on with what's going on with them? Oh, my nodal ruler, one of them is my chart ruler, and then oh, it's making a square to Pluto. Oh, there's more stuff right there. There's just so
Hmm.
it's just it's
And then you got another layer deep. Yeah, so you dig another layer deeper and deeper and deeper.
yeah.
I
And
like
then
that. I like that.
the thing about evolutionary astrology compared to traditional, I would say, and
Hmm.
traditional is just a different it's old school, it's old way, it's like it's more meticulous in like I don't know. I want to speak for traditional because I'm not traditional, so I don't want to like say things and I'm not accurate on it. But like evolutionary, we're kind of like painting an abstract picture. You ever seen like a painting and the colors are just like you can't really make out exactly what it is, but you
Yes.
interpretation of what it is. That's what I love about evolutionary. It's like it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, but nothing.
I think that, yeah, I think the modern evolutionary approach of astrology is more psychological, more in depth of the like a more personal. I don't know. I feel that way. The traditional is more, you know, mundane. It's good for election or mundane or for horror or for stuff like that. That's how I feel it. I'm I'm not a traditional astrologer. I just listen and some stuff, but I feel that it's good for those kind of things. But for natal charts, for the soul and growth and our purpose, why are we here? I think evolutionary astrology, like modern approach, gives them better psychological depth of of why are we here? What do we want to accomplish? Uh,
I,
that's how I help people. I think that lays more for me in that way.
think I
Cool.
couldn't go as deep with astrology. Not it's not just evolutionary astrology, but like it does give us like a great base to work off of. Like if it was only traditional astrology, and it's like a bold statement, it's okay, I don't really care. I wouldn't be an astrologer because I'm like it just doesn't go deep enough for me. Like traditional for me is deep
Yes.
enough. This is my opinion. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying like it's too surface for me, right? But it's like I have traditional astrology friends, and I'm like, hey, like if you get like substance out of it, that's all that matters because it works for you. You know what I mean? So
I do find some techniques that are valid, like if you find them useful, like annual perfections. I found that like a valid, like a useful tool that I add to when I do solar
yeah,
returns. Just add it, and I found that it's actually, but I feel it's more deterministic, kind of a thing. That's why.
uh-huh.
Uh, uh, I'm more. I don't know. I don't know. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. Anyway,
And
cool.
I actually like I use those too. Like I'm in a Mercury year, so which
Okay.
I need a Mercury year because I've had last year I had a Venus year, I had a Mars year before that, I believe. So some neutrality with Mercury is nice.
Yeah, I'm finishing my Venus year and I'm starting Mercury year next month. So we'll see. It's gonna be ah
Oh,
no, I'm gonna have a good year.
before we go, do you want to? I should have asked you a long time ago, but yeah, can you talk a little bit more about
A
humanistic?
humanistic But it's a kind of it's like a humanistic. It's like a also psychological approach. Like a I find it's like a modern Western approach of uh, like more psychology
Yeah.
based, like humanistic. Like then yeah, exactly, like Dan Ruggiero, and they have like a um it's not as karmic as evolutionary. It doesn't talk about karma and past lives. It's more here and now. How can I practically help you with it just approaches to humans as humans, and how can we help them, like a more
Yeah.
when you think about Renaissance and how people were like how to help practically people here, and just taking them as human beings, not as a soul or something abstract. So it's more concrete, not as an abstract.
Oh,
That's what it is. But I find just because I was a student of Steve Jobs, and then I was more of a British school kind of a girl. So I learned a lot about like I love Frank Clifford, and a bunch of so they're kind of they are from that kind of a
yeah.
approach, and but on the other hand, I do love I have Steve Forrest, and I love evolutionary astrology as well. So to combine those two, I find them really help. It's not nothing. It's not a branch of astrology that is very particular. It's just more psychological, let's say, and looking humans as
Well, yeah.
humans. That's all. Like as human as we are here right now in this
Yeah.
physical
Mhm.
body in the world. That's it. Right.
Imagine if I mean, maybe this is hoping for too much. Imagine if there were more psychologists that were also like humanistic astrologers, because it would just open it up a little more.
Yes.
That'd be amazing, Because
Yeah.
I
See,
oh
I love combination of Frank Clifford and Mark Jones together. So the way they combine their knowledge. That's kind of my goal. That's kind of what I find, like that's combination for me that it's excellent. Like a little bit of evolutionary, a little bit of humanistic approach. I like that. So, um, um, just looking on a more positive side, how can we actually help people practical things
yeah.
in that way? Just like I don't not being fatalistic or this is you're doomed or whatever, kind of more optimistic kind of a view. That's how I
No,
find
I
it
like that. I
very.
like it because you're actually see, and that's the thing I love about astrology. It's like if we're using it in a practical sense, like that's really the people think it's too woo woo. Like, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you actually doing? No, but like if we're actually talking about things that actually matter to people, like we're counseling. Counseling is counseling
Exactly.
is counseling.
But like like a life coaching is a very modern now thing to do. If life coaches would use astrology in their practices,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's a great tool, guys. It's a tool. Like people were watching the stars forever and ever, right? So psychology wasn't a science 100 years ago, right? It just became recently. I'm sorry about the noise, neighbors. So I'm just thinking that any tool that can help people understand themselves, understand others, because we are not we don't live just by ourselves. We live with other people, understanding ourselves and the world around us and people around us. It just it won't help us resolve our issues. We still have problems, but it's going to be easier, right? Because we raise awareness and consciousness, and that's the goal,
Yeah.
right?
That's why it's funny because some people think like, oh, you're an astrologer, and people are like, oh, that's your religion. This and that. I'm like, no, I'm just using it as a tool for self-discovery and this and that. There's nothing wrong with using modalities like astrology, psychology, spirituality. These are things that are helping us to understand ourselves better. But yeah.
No, but psychology was a mumbo jumbo 100 years ago. Like, what is that? People, traumas, talking about childhood and experience. Like mommy issues, dad issues. Like it was like what? Now it's
Yeah.
normal. Now people go to therapies. It's normal. It's nobody. Nobody's. It's a normal thing. So having astrology readings is going to be normal, hopefully, as well as going to psychology therapy. That's how I I wish that
And I
for
think Pluto
astrology. The same.
is like that. The merging of like the psychology with the the esotericism of astrology, and like that blend. Pluto, the kind of outside the box of astrology, and you put it together. I think Pluto Aquarius, we got some time. It just went, and it's gonna keep dipping in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius for a little bit. It's gonna keep teasing us with Pluto and Aquarius, but I think right when it settles into Pluto and Aquarius, when Pluto settles in, I think we're gonna have like this boom or this renaissance of astrology. Like I
Mhm.
can't wait. I truly think it's gonna happen.
Katrina is asking, is astrology a field of possibilities or a cosmic science? She goes, I think it's both. I think it's both. I think it's a lot of things, to be honest. An art and a religion and a science, everything in one
Yeah,
for me.
I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I kind of like I'm reading those and I'm like there's like a blur. Like you can put those together,
Right?
because cosmic science. I mean, I guess what she probably means is like cosmic science, like facts, like actually things that.
Hmm.
Well, the astronomy within astrology, that's the cosmic science. Like the movement of the planets, that's actually happening. But then I think the field of possibilities, that's where the interpretation comes in. You know what I mean? That's the astrology part, the possibilities.
Yeah, but you can't have all this interpretation and archetypes and everything. Doesn't make sense if you don't know basic cycles of planets. You need to know astronomy. Like you need to know what is happening. What are the cycles of the planets around you? What is happening physically with them? Why is the eclipse happening? What does that
Yeah,
mean, right? Like physically, and then you can explain it, right? In a words. So I think it's a language. It's a language of
yeah,
stars.
it's
It's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. You put it perfectly. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Do you want to add anything? It's so nice talking to you. I feel like I don't know what our synastry is, but I feel like I know you for it. It was such a nice
Like
chat.
it's like the most flowing chat that I've had in a while, which is great. We're just riffing, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
your questions are great. I love the fact that you had so many good questions because it just helped everything
But
flow.
I'm wired up. I'm wired up. I want to thank you so much for joining me, for talking to me, and to thank everybody for joining us. I'm going to save this for later for those who missed it, and I'm going to put it on my YouTube. And please follow this guy. He has great stuff, so don't forget to put follow. I think after your Saturn return, you're going to have a breakthrough that we're gonna hear for you. You're gonna do big stuffs. I can see this.
I think I appreciate it. And hopefully it happens. Hopefully I don't have to wait until after Saturn return because yeah, Saturn return is like some people don't make it out of their Saturn return. I'd like a breakthrough
No,
by
no, no,
Saturn return.
no. You're gonna be just stronger. You have all the tools you need. And I hope you're gonna teach us in the future as well. I think you will be a great teacher as well. So don't forget.
Thank you so much.
You know.
This was a great chat, and yeah, we got to have another chat sometime down the line. And yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for
We can drill on Venus retrograde this
oh,
summer
happy.
and see what does that mean for people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon, guys. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.